Meantime, to a Maryland man who recently discovered that he is a descendant of a prominent former slave, and now he's working to preserve his ancestors' rich legacy by renaming a building in D.C. as well as establishing a landmark. Anna-Lysa shows us the areas that he considers to be hidden gems.
At 57 years old, James Fisher began exploring his family tree, slowly trying to piece together each branch.
Two local writer researchers in the area sent an email asking me if I knew I had a famous ancestral grandfather.
That seventh-generation grandfather turned out to be former slave Captain George Pointer, who managed to buy his freedom at 19 years old.
At the age of 13, his master rented him out.
With the help of partner Tanya Hardy, he started digging deeper using Ancestry.com and the National Archives. He later found this, a letter with Pointer's autobiography, a key to unlocking his story.
I had the honor of being with the engineer, the directors of the Old Potomac Canal Company.
This is the area where George Pointer lived in a cabin while working for a shipping company known as the Potomac Company. Fisher says he's now working on getting this area preserved as a landmark.
I'd like for his cabin to be rebuilt.
Eventually, Fisher started to find even more connections, this time discovering Marianne Plummer Harris, who was Pointer's great-granddaughter. Her family owned land along Broad Branch Road in Northwest Washington.
It still should be in the family.
The Lafayette Recreation Center is one of the buildings that is now on that plot of land. Fisher's goal is to ensure that his family's legacy will be etched into parts of the building, including Pointer's name.
About his life.
As Pointer wrote in this letter, he not only bought his freedom, but he also became a top engineer and a go-to for information for the company he worked for. Fisher believes his story is timeless. What do you admire the most?
He was a slave, but he didn't know it. You may call it a struggle, but it doesn't have to be a struggle.
In Maryland, Anna-Lysa, ABC 7.